Yo guys, and we're back with another episode of Podghost.
So guys, today we thought we'd change it up a little bit. And someone who's a better speaker than both of us put together.
Yep.
She's been the voice of the Asian music industry for the last 7 years. So we'd like
time.
to call into the show DJ Harpz.
Thank you
so
man.
much.
That's
How you
such a
doing?
lovely little intro,
Ain't it?
lads.
The
Thanks,
voice.
Man. Yeah, the
You
voice.
know, it was going to be longer, but then we thought, you know what? The list goes on because you, dancer, comedian,
Everything.
radio presenter.
You know, on the way here,
Little
we
bit of everything.
we were
Yeah.
actually writing it down.
Yeah.
Were
And
you?
we're thinking, how do we introduce Harpz on? And he was like, bro, there's so many things that she's done. Let's just say, you know, she's the voice of the whole Asian industry.
Oh, that's really sweet though, man. I mean, it's a big label, but I'll take it.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me, man.
So the time is now at 5 o'clock, West
Yes.
London. We thought we'd come and meet you in the middle.
Thank you for coming to my ends.
Yeah, yeah.
Just made it easy for me, you know. Not a lot of people make my life easy, let's just say that.
Oh God.
But you know what? Harpz, we always like starting on saying, you know, how you been? How's family? How's everything?
Good, thank you. It's nice that you've asked me that question. Not a lot of people start with asking how
We
I
have
am.
to.
No, I'm good, man. If anything, I think I'm living my best life right now.
That's good to hear.
It's different. It's very different compared to like how I would usually spend my everyday life, but in a good way. So yeah, I'm good, man. I'd like to say I'm good.
So,
brilliant,
you know,
yeah.
obviously because you were on the radio for such a long time.
Very
so when
long
you're
time.
doing something for such a long time, you become like immune to that.
Yeah.
Just naturally your body
Yeah.
will, you know, because you used to do the 4 in the morning shows, 4 a.m.
Bloody
So all you guys that would love Harpz, 4 in the morning, you know, hear her now.
No, literally on my way to the work. As soon as I'm on my way to the work, and
Yeah.
I used to turn it on. Harpz was there, and I was like, yeah, sick.
Yeah, you know, that is actually like it becomes like someone you know.
Yeah.
You know that it's like when you watch TV for so long, like when you watch EastEnders.
Yeah.
And you watch the characters for 10 years and they die and you think, okay, it's not the same anymore. Because Harpz left after such a long time.
Yeah.
Don't kill me off
Yeah,
though.
no,
but
no,
yeah.
it killed you. You got a lot coming. So,
Yeah, exactly.
Harpz, explain to us how you felt the next morning after you stopped.
After I'd left. I'm not gonna lie, it was a shock to the system not waking up at 4 a.m. even though I still did wake up at 4 and I still do wake up at 4. My body just naturally wakes up at 4. Obviously I stay in bed now though. But it was different, it was weird, and I felt like the next morning is when it actually really hit me. Like that's when I really kind of went, oh my God, like I'm actually not going into the studio tomorrow, and I'm not like, it was weird. It was weird is probably the best way to describe it, because when something becomes an not just an everyday thing, such a big thing in your life, like it was literally top of my list, and you know we can talk about that a little bit more, but because I put it at the top of my priority list, which I did, work was always before everything and anything and anyone.
Yeah.
When that disappears, it's a very strange feeling, man. And I actually felt a bit lost for a bit, not gonna lie. I felt a bit lost without what I did, because it's all I knew.
Yeah,
it's all I
course.
do, and it's all I've ever done. So then for my life to just kind of slow down and just stop, it felt like it had just stopped. Even though I do so many other things around just the radio, like it's not just that I obviously do, but even though I do so many other things, it still felt like everything stopped, and I'd just frozen in time for a bit. So it took a while. It took a few weeks and months to adjust to just getting out of that.
It was even
mindset.
hard, and it was emotional when me and Yazz were watching it as well. The last
you
speech.
watch it?
No, you know your last
We watched
speech.
it before,
yeah.
but we had to re-watch it again.
Yeah,
You
But
actually-
anytime you watch it, it's the same
it's
feeling.
just
You're
so
like,
deep, honestly. You know, especially when you went through the list of saying thank you to all them people, and you think 7 years is a long time. It is a long, long time.
You
Even
know,
though people come and go in them 7 years.
yeah.
You see them people more than your friends and family at home.
Oh God, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And this is what I mean by that. Like that became everything to me.
Of course.
So people, as awful as it's gonna sound, and I openly admit this now, but even people did not cross my mind in an everyday in a day of Harpz, should I say?
Of course, yeah.
It was just work. What I need to get done, what I need to do. I'm so focused and driven on what I love to do and where I want to be, that actually the things that really matter were the things that I forgot about. And now I'm in a much better position. I've rekindled those relationships I lost. You know, people and family, I guess, you know, where I neglected so much time. I missed out on so many things. We all know what it's like these days, especially with social media. If your friends or your family are at a certain place but you're not there, we've all got FOMO to a certain extent.
100%.
Like, what's she doing now? What they're doing now?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I wish I was
exactly.
there. That was me all the time. So it's not like I didn't want to be there. Of course I did. But it goes back to what I was saying. I chose my priorities very differently. So it was always, no, I can't get out of this work thing. I have to go to work. No, I can't get out of this work job. I have to go to work. And then when everything stopped, I just realised, oh my God, like I have missed out on so many important, special things for those people. You know, for those people, it mattered the most. Like those were big things for those people, and I'll never forgive myself for that. But I guess that's just my lesson learned now, isn't it?
The question I'm about to ask, I think you kind of answered it, but was that like the main reason why you left? It's because of your priorities, nah?
There's probably an endless list if I was to be really, really honest with you why I've left.
So what was top of the list?
Yeah, 'cause I wasn't even fully sure. I was just
I don't think a lot of people are, to be honest.
Yep.
I think if you listened, well, like you said, you watched my last speech, I tried to be very... I don't know what the right word to use is. Like, obviously, I wanted it to be real, which it was. It came from the heart, and I think you can tell, because I've never broken down like that anywhere.
That was deep.
But I also had to be a bit careful, and I think that just comes with the restrictions and stuff behind the role that I play, right? Like, I've got to be careful what I say, where I say. So I didn't want to go too far either. So I needed to balance that. But the real reasons behind it, I mean, I'm not going to tell you every single reason just yet, because between us and maybe a little exclusive for the podcast, I will at some point come up with everything when I'm ready to talk.
Of course,
But I will give you little insights now, which I'm not afraid to talk about. Like, one is being a breakfast presenter for that many years. 7 might not even sound like a lot of time to some people. It might just be like, oh, is that it?
Yeah.
But what I did for 7 years, and if I told you from morning to night what I'd done for 7 years, I don't think there's a lot of people out there that could do it. And I don't mean that in a horrible way. There's a lot of hardworking people out there. But what I do, I think people underestimate it a lot. I don't just go on the radio and talk for 4 hours. Like some people go, oh, you only go on the radio and talk for 4 hours. You just talk rubbish for 4 hours. It's an easy job. I'm like...
People probably think you just walk in, talk.
Of course.
And for me, it was like, okay, cool. If that's what you think, then you go do it.
Yeah.
You wake up, be very sleep deprived, and after your show, go and do the 50 million other things that you've got to do. Job-wise, elsewhere. And then on top of that, try and control your life as well, because everybody seems to forget I have a life as well. I'm not just a presenter.
Exactly.
I have a life. I've got a family, I've got relationships, I've got friends, I've got responsibilities in my life. Like, but you forget about those things. So I think that was the one thing on the list. It was the fact that I lost control of the balance in my life. Balance was just all over the place. In the last 2 years, I think I just lost it. There's only so much you can try to keep on top of it all and be like, okay, I need to please these lot, and now I need to please this lot, and now I need to get this right, and now I need to do that. And because I had like 50 things going on all the time, it was so hard, man. So balance was just, it was going downhill. And I could see it, and I knew it was coming at me fast. So when you realise that you're at a point where you're on such a high all the time, but you're looking, I don't know if this makes sense, but you're looking ahead and you can just see that you're rolling down this hill, you're rolling down now, you're not climbing the ladder, you're rolling down, and any minute now, you're going to hit that ground and you're going to crash. And that's how I see it in my head, and that's how I saw it, and I was like, I can see it, and it's going to happen anytime now, it's going to happen. So to kind of save myself from the crash at the bottom, it was kind of like, I need to find something.
Pull yourself out of that
situation. I need
to
find that focus of not getting into that deep hole, because that looks like a very deep hole, and that route on this hill is where the other things on the list come in. Like, I'm just painting a picture in my head of how I saw it. So, like, the balance had gone, and then on top of that, my health was deteriorating really, really bad. Like, I was sleep deprived, I'd fallen back into depression, I'd gone for therapy, which I still do, and I think it's fine to do that. I think, if anything, everyone should. I was not eating on time. So everything like that mattered to me. Like even the gym, I'd stopped going to the gym, and that was a big thing in my life. And it wasn't to always look great. I never went for that. It was my escape. Like mentally, I'd just have like that hour or 2 hours in the gym to myself, and I'd just switch off from everything. But those kind of things started to stop. So when I realised that now I'm not even doing things that I wanted to do because I just don't have the energy to do it, what's wrong? Like there's something wrong. Like this isn't right in it, and you feel it's not right.
You need to reassess the situation.
Then COVID hit, and the pandemic came along, and I unfortunately got COVID when it first happened. So no jabs or anything. There was no, none of that.
We heard about that as well. Yeah.
So I got it really bad, and when I mean bad, I genuinely didn't think I'd come out the other side, and for other health reasons, I thought mine was worse because it was bad. So I was out of work for 32 days. To be out of radio for 32 days is a very long time. I've never done that. I've never experienced it. I don't know what it's like to be away from radio for 32 days. So that hit me hard. And after that, mentally, physically, emotionally, I was just
never the same.
No, I think I was just a mess. Like I just lost everything. Like I lost focus. I lost motivation. I just didn't look after myself. Then it led to me being in and out of hospital to get so many different tests done. Like, what's wrong with me? I'm feeling lethargic. I'm like gaining weight. Everything was just weird because I just never experienced anything like it. And then I just became a really moody person. I wasn't someone very nice to be around, if I'm honest. And I think that then affected other things, like your friendships, your relationships, because you're bringing such bad energy home or around these people. That was another thing I knew at the back of my head what I'm doing, but I couldn't stop myself from doing it. And that's where I was like, but why can't I stop myself from doing it? Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, there's something weird in my life. That was another problem on top of that. And then working in a very toxic environment it doesn't help.
Of course not.
And I guess I just had enough, I guess. And I think I'd got to a point where I was just like, actually, I have to make a really big decision for myself now, because the energy that I'm feeling when I go to work, I'm bringing that same energy back home. Yeah. And I kept that energy for the rest of the day, for the rest of the week, for the rest of the month. Like, nothing or no one could cheer me up. Nothing or no one could make me happy. And that's really sad to say. Like, even when I think about it now, it gets me really, like, overwhelmed, because it's not easy. Of course it's really not easy. But then came the whole decision making. Like, in my head it was like, okay, I've got an amazing job. I love and breathe and live and breathe what I do. And I think people that really, really know me or really got to connect with me, whether that's personally or professionally or even just as a listener, I think you will know that I really, really freaking love what I do. I love what I do. I haven't spent years to get to where I am just for the sake of it.
Of course.
Sadly,
just to add on to that as well, it's like everything you've just said right now, it's kind of shocking because you never hear that or feel that vibe when you're actually on the radio presenting. Yeah. You would have never ever thought that. And that's sad.
It is sad, and that's the thing. So in my head it was like, I've got this amazing job which I love. Like, obviously I've got this connection with so many thousands and millions of people around the world that connect with me, whichever way that might be, whether it was through my radio or my TV presenting or my hosting or my gigs or my DJing, whatever it was. I just knew that so many people depended on me and relied on me, whether it was waking up in the morning or I just cheered them up for 2 minutes in whatever way. How do I let that go and say bye to so many people? Then I thought, I'm comfortable. You know, let's be real, financially I was very happy. Not just, and I'm not just talking about radio, I'm talking about everything at the time. Like, I was doing so many different things. I was comfortable, so I wouldn't complain about anything like that. It was going easy for me. So again, you ask yourself, why would you walk away from it? Not a lot of people would walk away from being such a big influence or playing such a big impact on so many people to walk away. Yep. So I guess
just to chuck it in. I think in 2021 I read somewhere you was like one of the highest paid in BBC.
Oh,
as
wow,
well,
you saw that. I've been trying to hide that for
That's
so long.
the only thing I saw. How much was it? Oh, do you want some figures?
No, write it down. We'll talk about it in a bit. So
I'll do you
still have some of that cash lying
I'm glad you... You know, I'm glad you brought this up. I've never spoke about this, right? Okay. But I feel like now
I'll do my research. Thank you very much.
Now that you brought it up, I might as well address it now.
Yeah.
That was... I got told... okay, so I need to talk basic for anyone that doesn't understand this radio language. So basically, not even just radio. So the whole of the BBC, the whole of that corporation, they have... like I don't like calling it a rich list, but it's kind of like the highest paid people,
like higher band,
every year, and they'll drop this list every single year. And I was aware of it, obviously, because I'd see it every year myself. It'll be in the papers. It's public knowledge. Everyone sees it. It's there, right? You'll see who's top, and usually it's someone like Gary Lineker, #1, nearly every year. And he was on the year that I made it to the list. But anyway, so that year I did get told, like, I got a bit of a heads up that this might happen. And I was like, it can't happen. Like, I know I'm comfy, but I'm not like that. Like, I was comparing myself to people on that, you know, on that list. These amazing, you know, TV presenters, hosts around the world. Like, they're big people on there. So I was like, I think you've made a mistake. In my head, I was like, they've got this wrong. It's not going to happen. Genuinely, I swear to God, I just ignored it. I was just like, nah. So then, obviously, the time came a little bit closer, and I was like, is it actually gonna happen? Like,
that's mad.
Surely I'm at the bottom of the list or somewhere, like, even if I'm gonna make it. But it wasn't about that. And if you know me, I don't ever talk money, which is why it's the first time ever. But then I got told it is happening. So it shot my anxiety sky high. I'm not that person. I don't flaunt. I don't like flaunting what I've got. I just don't enjoy doing that. If I'm honest, each to their own. I know a lot of people do, and good for you. Like, you've done well for yourself, do it. I just don't come from that nature or background, so I find it hard, if I'm honest, to like show things. Maybe it plays a part in what I do because I get judged so much, right? So anything I do is just judgment. So I've chosen to kind of be the way I am. So I knew that my anxiety was gonna like increase because people are going to know, people are going to find out, what people are going to think, people are going to judge me now, because let's be honest, money plays a big part in people's brains and their opinions. So I knew, again, I was like, right, okay, so now this is going to drop, and now more people are going to have more opinions, because now they're going to look at me going, oh, she's making this, that, whatever.
All the people come out of nowhere, Harpz got any peas.
Do you know what I mean? So
that was going to be my next question.
Yeah, we won't get onto figures. You'll be able to find it anyway, which is what I don't like. So I tried to fight against it. So I was like, you know, trying to get professional advice, going, I don't want this to come out, guys. Like, I really, like, it was that bad. I really didn't want it to come out.
Even the people that know you, you've never been that person, even on, you know, social media. You never put up cars or money or, you know, doing that sort of stuff. It's not really been your life. So I do understand what you mean.
To a certain extent, I do find it a bit sad as well that I can't, because I should be able to, I should be allowed to enjoy what I've got or what I want to do, but I think I've just been so, my body and brain has been so trained into just going, look, you're just going to get judged no matter what you do, and there's always some stupid person to say something, so I've just, now it doesn't excite me, now I'm like, oh, it is what it is.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, people can see how hard you've worked. And everyone can see that, you know, you're not the most loved person in the BBC, well, especially with the industry we're in, you know, even the, you know, people that I talk to or work with, the way they speak about you is completely different. No disrespect to any other presenter. The way they speak about you is in a complete different light. 100%. And that, you know, that shows the impact you've had on them, even as like professional artists or, you know, entertainers. So you celebrating your success, you know, with buying what you want or you know, flaunting it to an extent. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
You should be able to enjoy it without other people having to judge you. Or even, you shouldn't even care about them people, man.
Yeah, of course.
It's mad because... I'll talk about that as well a little bit later, because social media has played a massive part as well. But just coming back to this very quickly, when I tried to stop it, I got told I couldn't. So it was just like, it's a thing. It's just what they do.
Public knowledge, you can't really do it. It's BBC,
they're going to do it anyway. So I was like, okay. So I was dreading the day, but thankfully the day happened after I left. So I'd already left, but I knew it was coming like 2-3 weeks after that. And I was like...
I think that's respect.
I'm scared. I was just scared.
It's a nice status, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah, I was... You know what's weird? Like, I find it even hard saying it now, but I'm going to say it. Like, I did feel a little bit proud because there's not a lot of South Asian people.
That's what I was going to say, especially Upper Neon there as well.
On that list, So in my head, I was like... Nah, man, I just did something that not a lot of people have done.
100%. And I think anyone that supports the whole scene and the culture in one, they should celebrate that as a unit. Because we are technically, all you've done for the last 7 odd years is promote everyone's careers and
just push everybody else.
Exactly. So when it's your time now, I think everyone should appreciate that and you know,
reciprocate the
pay homage to that. Because it's not easy, especially when you're brown and you want to start going into an industry. Normally they close the door on it. Not no one in particular, but in general, in a lot of industries. Colour plays a big part.
Yeah, 100%. It's played a big part in my entire career, to be fair.
See, that was going to be my next question. Sorry. You know, obviously you've been in the BBC for such a long time, and a lot of people I know, they're kind of anti-BBC. They say the higher you go up, the more it becomes, I don't want to use the word racist, but more...
Harder?
Yeah, it's harder for us brown people to get far.
Yeah.
As a whole, around the world, in any sort of field or industry, this is just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I feel like it's hard for any of us to do anything. Like, it is. Let's be honest. I mean, we see more and more of us coming forward now, which is a good thing.
Brilliant, yeah.
And, you know, I get asked this all the time. Do you think, like, do you think there's more of us now? Do you think it's different now? It is different now, but I personally think we've still got a very long way to go. Like,
100%.
I don't think we're still seeing enough. Like, there's not enough people that look like me on TV.
Yeah,
if I was to ask you now and even name me about 5, you'd probably be sat there for ages thinking of 5 people.
I'll get up and walk out, to be honest. I wouldn't be able to answer it. That's the truth.
But that's my point.
Right.
So clearly we're not where we need to be, because if you can't think of 5 people, and that's including me as well. Like, I'm sat here as well. It's not an exam. But I mean, I would struggle to answer that question if someone asked me, which is why I went into TV and did the kids presenting. Well, I didn't actually plan it. It just happened. But when it did, that was probably one of my proudest feelings ever, because I just felt like I've always wanted to be on TV. Never thought it'd be kids, if I'm honest. I never even thought, oh my God, I'll be a kids presenter one day.
Yeah.
But when the door opened and I got it, and I was like, this is actually amazing, because the only brown person I'd ever seen when I was growing up was Connie Hook, who used to be on like Blue Peter, if anyone.
Yeah, I remember.
Like, you know, if you remember. But then I don't remember anyone else. There is no one else.
No.
So when I was younger growing up and, you know, wanting to do what I wanted to do, I'd always get asked by family or whoever, are you sure? Are you sure?
Yeah, of course,
but why are they asking, are you sure? Because there isn't anyone like you out there. So they're just scared and a little bit worried that you might not make it either.
Yeah.
But I'm the opposite. That gives me fire and drive inside to go, well...
Amazing.
I'll make sure, however long it takes me. It'll take me years, but I want to just prove that you can do it.
Of course.
And you know, as amazing as it is to get the love that I do, because... You know, even though I talk a lot about the negative I get as well, only because I think it's important for people to know I get that too. I don't like people thinking I've just got a glam. That's why I talk
just
about
giving
it
it to you,
100%.
But I know I'm very blessed. You know, touch wood, I'm very blessed. I've got a lot of people that love and respect my work and genuinely want to see me win.
Yeah.
But I think that moment for me was kind of, no one's actually really helped me get there. And I've struggled a lot through a lot of doors, which... I can't still say why, but I guess in my head maybe it was because I'm the brown girl. It could have been because I'm a girl. I think that happens a lot as well. Like, just being female is 100 times harder than it is for a man. I'm sorry, but it is. No, only because I've been in those situations as well. And if I'm up against someone like that, like, I just know it's not going to come to me. And I used to go in with that energy going, okay, I can see who else has come for this job, and then I ain't getting it. And that'd be the case, I wouldn't get it.
Yeah.
And I'd see that person who I had the bet on get the job. So I've seen that happen, and it still happens, and it'll continue to happen. And it probably still will continue to happen in my life. But that's cool, because now, in my head, I'm just like, look, I've got my focus. I know what I want. I know what I want to do. I know what I love, and I'll just keep grafting until I get there. And even where I am now, I didn't get it straight away. It's not easy. You don't just land. You don't land this job straight away in it.
No, even when you go into radio, or you do go... It's now up to you to win people over.
Yeah.
It isn't a guaranteed win for anyone, because, you know, so many presenters come and go, and you've seen it.
Yeah.
Because they can't hack it.
Yeah.
You know, even when we speak to them after, they're like, oh, it's the hours. And this was going to be the next question that I had. And I know no human being can wake up in the morning and feel amazing every morning.
Yeah.
Right? You got, like you said, you have a personal life, you have relationships, friends, whatever. It could be just yourself feeling... But then now to go on at 4 a.m.
with that energy
and to make everyone feel good while you're probably breaking inside.
Yeah.
I think that's the hardest thing to do. So for us, for an example, if we would do, like, we're podcast hosts, if we don't want to do a podcast, just recently, Seff had a bit of a breakdown in his personal stuff, and he goes, yeah, you know what? I want to give it a miss for about... How many weeks did we take off? About 3 to 4. And then I done it 2 weeks later. I said, bro, I'm going through a bit of a moment.
Yeah.
I don't want to do nothing. See, we had the choice.
Yeah.
Now, with you, I felt like on radio, you don't have that choice. I don't know how you did that.
I'm just so glad you brought this up, because I feel like sometimes I have to be the person to bring this up in a lot of places because they don't get it. But thank you for acknowledging that is an issue. Yeah. It's the biggest issue. It's the probably, you know, one of the top 3 reasons why I've walked out as well, because I'm just sick and tired of being a character every day, because you lose yourself, man. Yeah. You then just become the character. You forget who Harpz is. I forget who I am. It's like I'm now just becoming something that everybody else wants. So if I was to put it into perspective, let's do it this way. It's easy. I'm gonna paint that I just a normal day in my life if I was still working the way I was.
Yeah.
So I'd be up at, let's say we'll start from sleeping. So I'm gonna sleep around 12, half 12, midnight. Yeah.
Yeah.
there'll be loads of questions, why? Firstly, I suffer from insomnia, and I have since I was about 12, 13. So getting the breakfast show was a bit like, huh?
Yeah, what's that?
What's breakfast? The morning, like, I don't know what that is. I don't even know what 4 a.m. is. I'd be sleeping at that time, not waking up at that time. So I was dreading it. So I'm drifting off now, but I'm just letting you know how that 4 a.m. felt for me. It wasn't like I was an early bird and I'm so used to doing it. I was dreading it when I got the job. So the first few weeks, even when I first started, I remember just having like bloodshot red eyes. I hadn't slept all night because of anxiety, and I'm just counting the hours, and now I've not slept and I've got to do a show. It was awful. Anyway, back to what I was saying. You sleep at 12. I've had 4 hours sleep. That's not healthy, firstly, anyway. It's not good for anyone.
No way.
I'm around waking up at 4. I'm getting literally dressed to half asleep. This is me. I don't do any of the put makeup on, sort your hair out. If you've worked with me, you know, you've seen me in my worst state, but it became normal. So I would go into work in all sorts of things. In my locker, I've got slippers, I've got a nightgown, I've got my joggers, I've got my tracksuit. Like, that's how I sit at work.
You owned it.
That's how I sit at work.
She is the definition of that sweatpants. Chilling with no
literally. That song was made for me. That's what I was like at work. So there wasn't any like, oh, how much time did you have to get ready in the morning? There was no time. I was out in 10 minutes. So I'd be up, do what I need to do, brush my teeth. Didn't even have breakfast. I can't eat at 4. It's far too early for me. So anyway, I've got to work. Now I'll have about 45 minutes-ish to eat, do what I need to do, and prep for the show, right? That really is a very crucial point of your day, because that just dictates what your show's going to be about. So you can't really just sit there and go, oh, yeah, we'll do this. You really have to be switched on. And of course there's going to be days where I might have not just slept, so I can't even understand what you're saying right now. I could just be saying yeah to a lot of things.
Yeah, exactly.
That's happened a lot as well. So yeah, then you've got a 4-hour show to do. In those 4 hours, your energy can't be here, it can't be there, it can't be in between. It's always got to be there.
Wow.
Always got to be there. Because if you're not there, everyone's going to switch off. Everyone's going to know you're not okay. Everyone's going to know you sound weird, you're not chirpy, you're not smiling, you're not laughing, you're not loud, you're not happy.
Of course, you meet yourself.
Yeah, because then it's just like, she sounds dead. Like, that is what it'd be like. So you can't afford to come down.
Of course.
So it becomes a habit, and I don't know if it's a good or a bad habit, but it becomes a habit of knowing when to switch that switch in your head the minute you walk in the studio. Now, this works differently for every presenter. Everyone's different. But for me, it's really weird. I felt like my body and brain got so used to just going, once I've walked into the studio door, it'd be like, right, game on. Like, now, there's no swearing. There's not, like, I'd literally change into a completely different person. I wouldn't even swear in the studio. Like, just walking in, because I just turned into this next person now. Of going, no, we need to speak. We need to speak normal and nice.
Yeah, that's it,
So anyway, when I've set everything up and I've sat down, the minute that mic goes up, I am in my element. I can't lie, I've got so much adrenaline because of what I do anyway. So it doesn't matter how much lack of sleep I've had, I'm up. But only when that goes up. It's not when I'm sat around and stuff. The minute I'm like, oh yeah, 3, 2, 1, okay, now like, this is what I'm like.
That's right,
And I felt like I became so good at doing it. So the producers that you work with, the team that you work with, and you know, people on the floor in other studios, I don't know if you've been, but like they're glass windows, you can see each other, right? So everyone knows if you're in a good mood or a bad mood, is what I'm trying to say. Like, people that you work with, they know if you're having a good or a bad day. So the days where you are having a bad day is what I want to give an example of. Like, let's say the day before, something really bad might have happened in my life. For whatever reason, I might have had an argument with someone. It could be anything, I'm really upset, it's hurt me, it's disturbed me, and this happened a lot in my life. Especially when I went through depression. We could even use that as the example. I had so much going on in my personal life. I hated wanting to go into, not going to work, but going into work with this energy. I used to hate getting up and go, oh, like, I don't want to do a show feeling like this.
Of course.
I don't want to do it. You don't feel like doing it, because I've got real emotion as well. And my real emotion at that time was saying, I just want to cry. So there'd be days where I'd cry in the car on the way to work. I'd cry when I got into the studio.
Wow, man.
All my colleagues had seen it. I mean, I can't lie. If they're watching, everyone's going to know they've seen my bad days when they're really bad. And I won't talk to anyone. I'll be a different person. I'll switch off and I'll be all sorts of things. But again, the minute I'd gone in and I did that thing with like, right, the mic's going up. I'm like this again. You're never gonna know if I'm having a bad day or not.
Of course, yeah.
You would never, and I'll tell you why. I promised myself, as a broadcaster, not even as who I am, as a broadcaster, as a professional person, I am never gonna let anyone listening to me or watching me on TV know that I'm having a bad day. That was just a promise to myself. I'm not letting that happen, and I hope.
No, big respect to that.
That never happened.
Personal opinion, never
because
did.
I don't think anyone ever did. But I can tell you now, 80% over the last 2 years was probably a bad day.
Wow.
And I just got tired of being the character. I was like, nah, I'm not. I can't pretend now. Like then it started feeling I was pretending. I wasn't. Like obviously I'm enjoying what I'm doing, but you know the extraness that you had to put on top and be like, I'm so happy for you and whoever you're talking to, and you're like, oh my God, have a great day, even though I'm having a really crap one. I just struggled with it after, because then the minute the show had finished, I'd just put it down and walk out in a mood again, not speak to anyone, go home. I'll be like that all day with everyone else I see. It was just, that was on repeat.
Even doing that is just sheer strength.
Yeah, that was on repeat.
That is so hard.
And then doing the other billions of things I do, like my typical week was Monday to for the past 2. I'm talking roughly past 2 years because I think that's where it all kind of went.
Yeah.
Like tits up, but Monday to Thursday was my radio. So again, 4 a.m. starts, doing whatever. After the show would finish, I might have had to go and do another quick job somewhere, like a voiceover or a quick gig, or I'm hosting something in the evening. Yeah. Then I've got to attend events, like all sorts of different events,
exactly.
Film screenings and. The minute I say film screenings used to give me anxiety, because I'm like, I wake up at 4 and the film starts at like 8, 9. I'm not getting home till 12 anyway. So that used to be like my head. And I'd got into a habit of counting how many hours of sleep I'm going to have. And that's a horrible habit to have. Yeah. And then from Friday, Saturday, I'd be catching flights to Glasgow to go do my TV show. Now, catching flights is not easy. I know there's probably a lot of people that have lived that life. I don't think I like doing it on a weekly basis. That caught up with me very quick. Because your whole day goes in the travel. Even though Glasgow's a 1 hour flight, I still felt like 4 or 5 hours of my day was just going in the airport.
Yeah, because you have to travel to the airport, check in. And
I'm packing, I'm going there. Just hated the whole like travel aspect of it. But then when I'd get to work, again, I'm like, oh my God, I love this job. Like, I just love my job. So the minute I'm back in the studio again, I don't like absolute crap in rehearsals. And then at 4 a.m. on Saturday morning, when I'm getting my hair and makeup done, I was just like, yeah, okay, let's do it. Let's do it. But the energy difference was really, it was very obvious, I think. And it wasn't always like this. I had a great time. I don't want anyone thinking if I worked for you, I never had a great time. I've loved everything. But I think it became obvious in the past year or so to other people that before she's got to go on air or on camera or on mic or go live, she is very different. But then the minute she's in work mode, she genuinely does give you work mode. And that's why I said even in my leaving speech that even though I'm not 100%, I will always give you 100. And that I've always just lived with that line in my head, because I will, and I'll continue to do it. Of course, I'll always have a bad day here and there. We all will, but of course, I'm never going to let the other person feel any less than that. I'd never even let them feel 99, because I'd feel like I haven't done my job right.
Bloody hell.
But,
that's why I actually asked the question, because I personally think that's not even possible.
Man.
You know, if I'm having a bad day, I'm lock off. I don't care who it is and what it is. And to think you did that just for all your fans and your followers, because they wouldn't even be listening to it if it weren't for you. Because they become like people they might listen to you and it starts their day and they're used to that. You know, when you're not, feeling you're 100% yourself, to make them still feel good.
That itself takes a lot of energy to do it itself. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it's mental. It's absolutely crazy.
You're making yourself feel like, okay, I gotta go there and act like I'm happy, even though I'm not. That's kind of like working overtime, isn't it?
It's mad. It's absolutely. It is. So, Harpz, being in the whole BBC stuff and being around all these people, you must have made some really good friends. Because obviously, naturally being with them that much time and eating together, chilling together. I don't know what the lunch times were. I mean, in the sense that you literally become a family, don't you?
Yeah, you do, man. Like, I remember when I first started as well, because when you first start, it's very different. You're very overwhelmed. And to a certain extent, you're a little bit starstruck, depending how passionate you are about your job, like I am. So I've been listening to radio for so many years. I've been watching people that I want to be like they're idols to me, right? So when I started, and that's not the case for everyone, I just want to put that out there. Sadly, it's just not. There's not a lot of people doing their jobs because they're happy to be there. There's a lot of clout chasing. But I think for me, it was, this is great. Like, I just want to learn so much from these people that I've watched and grown up wanting to be like. So I was scared though, because I didn't know how you're going to be received as a new girl.
Yeah.
Because this industry is very competitive. It's so ruthless. Like, just media industry in general. I'm not even talking just radio. Just in general, it is savage. Like, if someone wants to shut you off, if someone wants to be your friend today, they could shut the door on you tomorrow. You won't know why. Wow. It'll just happen. I've lost loads of friends like that, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what I did to you, and I don't know what I did to you, and I don't know what I said to you. It happened.
Yeah.
And then you have the whole, people envy each other a lot in this industry as well. Yeah. Like, if you're doing better, or if you've got something better, then I don't want to talk to you. Or people don't want to be friends sometimes with people if they haven't got what you've got.
That's mad. You don't think that would happen in that industry.
But I think media overall, it is just like that, you know, because everyone's kind of fighting for the same thing.
Oh yeah.
It then becomes
that way,
it does become a little bit toxic sometimes. So that's why you don't really know who your real ones are.
So for you, was it based on viewers and how many people are tuning into your show and a rival show? Would that be the main objective?
Personally, for me, I don't think it was really that, because I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not a person who cares about numbers. I don't give a crap if today I had 5 listeners and tomorrow I had 50,000. I don't care. Yeah. Like, I'm not bothered, because as long as I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and I know that I'm doing it to the best that I can, and I know I'm doing it right, of course, I genuinely don't really care about the numbers. Whereas, to a certain extent, I think, you should, because you want to measure your success. You want to know if you know, you're actually doing well, or you're on a certain level. But for me, I don't know what it was. Maybe because I'm quite spiritual, I just knew inside, I know I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
And I have no idea sometimes what that number is. I don't know how many people are listening. I don't know how many people have decided to switch off. I'm not going to know that. But I just knew, and I guess it's a vibe that you just get, like, when you're doing it. Or maybe it's just an energy thing that I think I've always had in general. I can just feel if something's going right or not.
Yeah,
I can. I really,
you have like
really
a sixth sense, don't you?
I don't know if it's a sixth sense, but I cannot, you know, honestly, if I know it's a bad show or something, I just know it's a bad show.
I'm a bit like that.
I'll be sat there going, this is shit.
Yeah, this is like we told you off
and
the
I'll be like, I've done a bad show today, innit? I'd be like, I've done, like, you know.
Yeah.
But if it's good, I know I'm doing good, so I don't really care about the numbers. For me, it was just, when I started, I wanted to be friends with everyone. I learned very quickly that you can't. You can't be friends with everyone. Not everyone wants to be your friend.
Of course.
Not everyone wants to help when you're new as well. I don't think, and obviously there are some good eggs. I don't want to say that they're all like that.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of people that have helped me as well along the way there, that have genuinely given me their time and gone, Harpz, you're great. We can see what you're about. Sit down. Let me teach you this. And I loved it. So I made a lot of good friends like that. With my schedule though, I never really got that much time to like cross other people, if that makes sense, because I'm so early in the morning.
Of course.
I was the one that was kind of not mingling as much. It'd be more outside of work. If I wanted to see, like, for example, like, you know, Bobby Friction is one of my very good friends and a mentor to me in my life as well. So like, big up to Bobby. But I've never seen Bobby at work, I don't think. There's probably like on the off chance if there was like, I had a meeting to go in for later in the day, or a Christmas party or something. Because he's not on till like 6, 7 in the evening.
Oh yeah, because
right?
his time slots.
So I ain't going to see him. So for me, it was a bit like, I'm not, like, he's my mate and I love you and you're helping me, but I never see you. So it was weird. So you know that you've got family there, but you don't see them the way that you guys probably think we do. It's probably more outside of work.
Come to think of it, it's true.
It's more outside of work.
Imagine going on to shift and knowing that the people around you on your shift, none of them like you or want to be your friend. And then all your boys and your girls and that on the next shift.
It happens.
On the outside, you think, how many people actually work in the radio sector, right? And you think everyone must be so close and it must be so jolly where you're eating together. You think this, you have a different perspective. Like, from me, I always thought it looks wicked. Whenever we went to the BBC, it just looked so much fun.
It did, exactly.
All the cubicles and everyone, you're thinking, this is jokes.
Exactly.
And do you know what it is? Yeah, you're right. Like, you know, even the first time I went into those studios, I remember I was like a kid in a candy shop. I'd never seen anything like it.
It's all colourful.
So for me to see like the mics and the cameras and the lights, I was like, I want to be in there.
It's like if I was in one booth and I see Yazz in the other booth, I'll be like, guys, so today we're going to be listening to...
And I loved, you know, that was the best thing for me. That was the one thing I loved. Like... Obviously, where I worked and on the floor where I was, we shared the same studios as Radio 1 and 1 Extra, right? So they became such good friends. But obviously, again, going back to what I said, only the people I see at the times I'm working. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I'm not seeing anyone else in the day.
Exactly, yeah.
So you're starting your day with the same people every morning. It becomes that. So they're your family, if that makes sense. They became my family. And, I'm really, really, really close to a lot of people at One Extra. I built some amazing friendships there. But that was me in the morning. Like, she'd be next door, like Nadia would be next door. And I'd be like, what's happening? And that's all we did. And if you ever watched anything on my Instagram, it's probably all I ever posted. So it's all I ever did. But, I love that side of it. Like, you do get to really be yourself in some aspect. Like, because everybody else around you has got the same type of energy.
I think with you carry that
especially
energy.
Breakfast.
You carry that energy with you anyway. So it's like a lot of people return that energy with good energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course,
you can't obviously, you get them dead people, they're just sitting there. And you're like, oh, brother,
we look like dead people at the moment, I'll tell you that.
So Harpz, you've always spoken about the whole negative side of things.
Yeah.
Me and Seff were talking on the way here. We wanted to ask you, because you've obviously interviewed so many people, so many artists, and being into the industry ourselves, we wanted to ask you, was there anyone that you saw?
I know what you're going to ask me.
And was there anyone you saw and you felt like, were you gassed about it?
Yeah.
Like, did you think, oh man, I can't believe I'm actually interviewing or talking to this person?
Exactly.
There must be one person that you think, or probably quite a few, but who would you say was number one where you just got gassed and thought, nah, this ain't happening?
I get asked this all the time, and I always sit like this going, I don't
Does
know
your answer change every time?
I think I probably changed it every time.
Change it now. And we'll get the compilation
you know what? I'll go with this similar kind of names that I have said, to be fair, because if they're the first names that come to me, clearly they're the ones I was most gassed about, innit? I was very blessed to be in a building as well where so many people would walk in and out, A-listers all the time. Even if they weren't for my show, they could be for Next Door, they could be for Radio 1 or Live Lounge. So I'd see them, literally like this window here, they'd just walk past and I'd be like... But then I learned after a bit as well that I can't be like that. I got told off once. They were like, you're the presenter, just calm down. I was like, oh yeah. But that just showed I was so real though. Like, I genuinely had emotion. I genuinely get starstruck. But you'll meet a lot of presenters as well that kind of put it on like they're not. I'm not fake.
No, I don't fall for
do you know what I mean? It's only Drake's out of there. So
huh?
Of course you're gassed to see if Drake's out there. Do you know? But it happens. But anyway, I make it very bait sometimes. But okay, if I had to pick... Will Smith is definitely top.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I felt like that day I didn't think it was going to happen, and you get this moment a lot as a presenter. When you bid for guests, or like when you're asking for guests, or when you're trying to book guests, whichever way you're trying to do it, whatever process you take, like you never know if it's going to come through.
Yeah.
You never know. There's never a confirmation. So there's never any point getting gassed straight away, ever. Yeah. Because I used to do that in the early days, and then I'd be so heartbroken, going, "Oh my god, like how did we get it?" And then I'd just dwell on it for a week, and then I realised you can't until it happens.
Yep.
That whole Will Smith thing probably went on for about 2 weeks at first, going, is it going to happen, is it not going to happen? And I trained myself very well into not getting gassed. But deep down inside I was like, nah,
you can't help it.
I love this guy, like this one has to happen. I was like, this one has to happen. So he at the time was in the film Aladdin, and they were doing a film screening in central London. So I'd got the screening for that, and I was like, yeah, obviously I want to go to the screening, but we need to get him. I was like, we need to get him. And we tried everything we could. Then we just managed to get like the media passes and stuff, like to go on the red carpet. Now, even then, it's not confirmed, because when you get a media pass or whatever to stand on a red carpet, it basically means you can stand with all the press. And if you get a chance, you get a chance. If you get him, you get him. If you don't get her, you don't get her. Like, if you're lucky, it's always luck. No one goes on that carpet thinking, I'm definitely going to get someone, right? So I just knew, I was like, this is such a big screening because of him. There's going to be bare people there wanting sound bites of Will Smith. Little old me. I really don't think it's going to happen. I went with that mindset as well, and I still can't believe it happened, because I went with going, we're not going to get this. I was with my producer. I was like, babe, we ain't getting this, man. Like, firstly, I'm only 5'5". I'll probably get like squashed between the whole crowd that are like jumping in. Who's going to see me? It's not going to happen. So anyway, I'm there. And as soon as I saw, like, obviously the rest of the cast are coming out, and we got a lot of good stuff off the other people, but for some reason, I just wasn't excited. I was more like, I need him. So he's got out of the car and he's walking. I was like, please God, please God, please God. Like, if this is meant to happen for me, it's going to happen for me. So then I changed it. I was like, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And I saw him just coming over, right? And literally the girl next to me, I wish I could remember her face, you know. I was like, I can't. But anyway, she was the girl next to me, and I was right at the front by this point, by the rail, because that's the most exciting bit. Then you're like, right, I've got a chance in it. So she's there, and she just literally shoved the mic in his face like that, and she got what she wanted, like. And then I thought, I think I have to be ruthless, but I'm not like that with guests in it. I can't do it. I haven't got it in me to just go, right, okay, so you start answering. I can't do it like that. I've got to warm them up a little bit. So I've just watched her go like this. And I'm thinking, he ain't going to go back a step now because he's just moving on to everybody else in it. So I'm looking at my producer going, what do I do? What do I do? She went, just jump in. I was like, okay. So you know what I did? I feel really bad, whoever she was. If you ever watched it, I don't think you ever will because I don't know who you were. But I cut her up. She's still talking, and I just like, so what?
And he actually cut her up.
And I got it.
No way.
I could feel, you know, when you can feel someone's side eye.
Yeah.
I was like, shit, yeah, this girl's gonna literally batter me after this is done. Her face was.
You must have thought, what are you fucking doing?
This is the industry, man. What was I supposed to do? No, either I get it, or I lose him literally.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to slap that night.
But anyway, she got something, didn't she? I'm sure she's fine.
Yeah,
she is.
You know, when I walked back to the studio, I was like, listen, she shoved the mic in his face first. She got whatever she wanted. Yeah, you didn't get the ending, but wow, does it really matter? Okay, it does, but.
So how long was the interview for? Was it like a quick one question?
Very quick. I probably got about 3 questions, and on a carpet you only do get about 2-3 questions, but that for me was more than enough. And as a radio presenter, it is, once you've got that
of course.
Once you've got the line you want, and I got the line I wanted, it's perfect because he did a whole little Bollywood routine and the dance thing that happens in the film. That's all I needed for the network. I was like, so talk to me a little bit about the dance. What did you do? When really I was just like, you look so good for 50, man. He's a gorgeous man.
Legendary.
He is, I swear to God, he's aged so well. I was like, how are you 50? Like, it's mad.
That's crazy.
But anyway, I think he's one of my favourites. I've got a lot, but he's one of my favourites.
So he was the one you'd say that sticks out, and you know what, I was gassed about it.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, was there anyone you met and you're like, why did I even bother?
Loads.
Yep.
I can't name drop that.
No, of course
everyone
you
wants
You can
names.
name one who's not gonna be watching.
Nah, you can't.
You never know.
I'm probably gonna be in the paper tomorrow if I say anything. Nah.
We'll ask off camera.
Yeah.
But you know, you always get that. Obviously, you always have like people you think are so big-headed and stuff, and it kind of puts you off them.
Especially when you're waiting to see them, and you're like if you randomly you're thinking, oh yeah, I really want to meet Yazz.
And that's happened many times, man.
And just put them.
You're bare rude to me or something, and I'm like, I'd rather.
But that's happened a lot, though. Even when sometimes you bump into people, you think, what a big-headed idiot.
Yeah.
Like,
do you know what? Yeah, you know what it is. You don't think of it like that sometimes, but when you really deep it, you do that in your real life every day anyway. Like there'll be people that you think, oh yeah, this girl will probably be cool when I meet her, and they turn out to be just like, actually, it's great. Like, you'll think like that sometimes.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? So, of course, it happens with us. Like, if anything, more, because you know how they always say, like, never meet your heroes, like, never meet your idols.
Oh, yeah, true.
Sometimes it is kind of true, because I've met and bumped into a lot of people, interviewed a lot of people, difficult people, awkward people, and also people that I'm so excited to meet, like, genuinely someone that I really like, but then when I've met them, I'm just gone, you've really disappointed me, man.
That's it.
You've really, like,
you get
so disappointed in going, I had no idea you were like that, but it's cool.
And it's funny, if you really like them, you'd be like, benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
He's having an off day, I still like him.
Yeah, because I was talking to one of my friends recently, and he bumped into someone that's really, really like an A-lister.
Yeah.
And honestly, he was in a park having a jog, and he goes, I asked him for a photo, and he actually said no. He actually raw face said, I'm not taking a photo with you.
Yeah.
I've had that, with certain people. I won't mention who it is, but a certain Bollywood actor, let's say, right?
That's exactly what it was, a Bollywood actor as well. And I think you might be the same person. We'll beat him up in a bit. But it was so funny because he thought at the time...
It probably isn't the same person because this guy's not...
Yeah. and then he goes... And then the guy... I'll go to the guy... He goes, I actually thought he's joking.
Yeah.
So when he said, no, I'm not taking a photo with you,
he
laughed it off.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, do you mind?
Yeah.
And he carried on his jog.
Oh, shit.
And my mate was like, I couldn't believe it. Yeah. From there, he unfollowed him. And he goes, I'm never going to watch none of his films again. Because he actually got scarred from it. Because you idolise these people.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Like, with my one story, now you've just reminded me of that one time. Okay, he's a Bollywood actor, but I wouldn't say he's an A-lister, but not...
An AA.
Yeah,
he's
not
a triple A.
That's a good way of... Yeah, he's not triple A. It's not like that. But, like... if you like your old school actors, you'll probably definitely have heard of him or you know him, right? Or if you're into Bollywood, you'll know him anyway. But he came in. I wasn't that excited. I'm not really into it. Yeah, it wasn't like
that. It wasn't a Will Smith.
Yeah, and it wasn't. But I was still happy. I was like, oh, you know what? It's quite sick for like a lot of the people that like old school Bollywood and stuff. It's quite good. Anyway, I found out that he shares the same birthday as my mum, right? And my mum is a big time Bollywood freak. Like she's obsessed with Bollywood. So I knew I could do something with this. So I said to my producer, I was like, oh, when he comes in, afterwards I might just get like a quick little birthday shout for my mum. She'll just get gassed in it. When's she ever gonna get a birthday shout from any Bollywood actor? Like it's not gonna happen.
Of course.
But I've got it, and I know it's not like he's not like that amazing, but for her, she would just be like, how did you get that?
Exactly.
So I was like, yeah, cool, I'm gonna ask. So anyway, at the end, I've asked this guy going, oh yeah, do you mind if we get a picture? Obviously. So I got the picture, but even then he wasn't too happy to take this picture.
Right.
And I hate when that happens. Because then I feel like an idiot. I'm like, why did I ask? Like, why did I ask? You feel stupid, innit?
Yeah.
So then I felt like I'm forcing myself to take this picture now. So I was like, okay, I know you're not happy to take it, but we'll take it anyway. So I took it and I hate it, which is why I didn't put it anyway, because I was like, I'm not happy in this and neither are you.
Yeah.
So then I thought, all right, it's worth a shot. Yeah. And I've learned this in my job. You've just got to try it.
Of course.
You're never going to know unless you don't try it.
Yeah, of course.
So I just said it. I was just like, oh, you know, my mum shares a birthday with you and stuff. It's on the same day. It'd be nice if, like, you could just give her a little message and I'll show it her.
Yeah.
He looked at me like this. He just went, well, I don't do that stuff. And firstly, I charge. And secondly, you'll have to ask my manager. Like this. Secondly, you'll have to ask my manager. No. I just went, okay, but there's a way you could have said that as well. Man. But the rudeness and of just shutting me down and going, well, firstly, I charge, and secondly, my manager, and thirdly...
Well, how about you bun you and the message?
So then I got even more annoyed. I was like, why did I just gas you up for a picture? Like, I'm more annoyed that I asked you for a picture.
Yeah.
And you've just shut me down like that. So then I just ignored it. I literally walked away from the situation. And then...
she must have said your films are shit anyway.
Yeah, and then I don't know why... Yeah, literally...
I don't even watch you, whatever.
It's not AAA anyway, do you know what I mean? You're not AAA.
Yeah.
And then someone literally told me to then go take him downstairs. Like, I was like, that's not my job to take him.
You should thrown him downstairs.
I was like...
You know, if he had asked you, how do I get that? I said, well, technically, that's not my job and I don't really know.
Find your way in it. I wish I could have said that.
Well, you know what? The funny thing is, that's actually really sad.
Yeah.
Because you think about it, it's the fans are the people that make you.
Yeah.
You know? And when you start... You know, watch out, you've made it, or like you said, he was a bit of an older guy, maybe he lived his whole life, and to think that that's how you treat the people that are watching your films, and they're the ones that are liking your pictures and watching your, you know, going to cinemas to pay for tickets, and you think, you know, there's no need for that.
You know what it is?
I don't buy that.
Yeah, and it says a lot about people's ego, because it's mad that you'll find people like, you know, people like Stormzy, or, you know, people that are quite high up like that in what they're doing, and they'll take pictures. Like, if I was to ask him for a picture, where I have, on the 5-6 times I've met him, and been blessed to have him on the show and met him and whatever, he stopped to give me that time and he'll do it. But I'm not comparing, but if you were to compare certain people, you'll just be shocked. There's a shocker, man, between triple A's and double A's and A's. Like,
and there is a list,
not all of them. There's a mix of everything. Like, you'd look at someone thinking, that person looks so nice, they'll definitely do it. They'll actually be the complete opposite. And then the person you think you'll never get something from, you'll actually get it. Yeah. And it's happened with me everywhere. Like, even with Will Smith, I didn't know I'd get the picture and stuff as well, but he gave me a picture. Yeah. And what I mean is, he does not have to do that.
Of course
Will
not.
Bloody Smith does not have to say, if he wanted to, he could have easily just gone, I'm taking no pictures. And walk off.
Yeah, of course.
And that's cool. And I would have respected it because you are a AAA. I like the term, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
I like this AAA thing. I should have used that one.
Yeah.
AAA's sick, innit?
I was learning
But you know what's really funny, Harpz? I know it's a bit controversial to talk like this, but because naturally what happens is, I've always had this chat with you off camera. I've always feel like your own people, meaning the biggest egos I've seen are from my own people, meaning brown people. And when I say one, we mean Pakistani, Indian, Bengali, whatever they are. I've always felt like the egos are so big. Now, maybe it's because, you know, being in the music industry, you just hear other artists talk about other artists, and you're like, if you guys ever collabed or worked together, this industry would grow so quick. 100%. And again, without mentioning names, but we know who the hotshots are, and we know who the, you know, the mediocre, and then we know who the... If they really wanted to, they could be the pioneers and bring these people out. You see, like when you mentioned Stormzy, and the way he's brought, you know, he's probably the biggest, for me, the biggest icon in the whole grime industry. And to think how he's brought everyone out, they collab with the biggest, they collab with the smaller guys, and they want everyone to eat. But what I realised with our industry, meaning the Punjabi music industry or anything, I always feel like once they get to that level, they won't look down at all.
Keep it to themselves.
They won't ever like, and I've had this chat with them personally and say, you know, why wouldn't you just get him on your song? And it's always, nah, he ain't got followers and I've got more numbers and my streams are better. And I'm like, bro, man, this is why this industry will never grow. And it's a bit like you saying about, if you know, you're a presenter yourself, you're in the BBC, for you to now go to a guy and say, if you could shout out for my mum, for him to say no, it just shows maybe it's a thing that just runs in the culture a little bit where the egos kick in and then they feel we don't want to, and that spot's open for someone to take that and give to everyone. And they could be like the Wileys and the big guys who still get respected till this day. I don't think this industry has that.
I think it's a very good point you brought up, and I've mentioned this quite openly before somewhere, that it's the biggest frustration that I have in our culture. It's the biggest frustration I have. And it's sad because, like, I do so much for the culture. I do so much for the scene. I do so much for my people. I try to do so much. But at the same time, I'm fully aware of how much people don't want to support one another either. I see it with my own eyes. So as much as I'm there going, I'm doing everything for the culture, I'm doing this for the scene, of course I am, and I'm genuinely doing it for that. But I also know at the back of my head it's bloody hard work because no one wants to see anyone win. That's our problem. And I've always said this. We have such a bad issue. I don't know what it is, if it's a genetically, like, I don't know if it's a genetic thing that just all people have from ethnic backgrounds.
Yeah, it's true.
That we're wired in a certain way of going, you've always got to be at the top.
It's competition.
You've always got to be at the top. Always. So if you're not at the top, what does that mean? Now you're looking down at everybody else around you. If you've got something I haven't got, I need that. If you haven't got this and I'm jealous, then I need that. Like if I'm seeing you do things I've always wanted to do, I don't want to touch you. Like, we've got this horrible habit of just
100%.
not wanting to clap for other people, and it really stresses me out. And again, I'll bring it back to my own journey. I've been in so many positions myself where you'd think certain people in my life or certain people in a certain environment would back me, support me, clap for me,
push you forward,
want me to win. But actually, they don't give a crap. There are people in that room, no one cares about nothing but themselves. No one cares about anyone else apart from their own little bubble. And that sometimes makes me sad because, yes, to a certain extent, you should definitely focus on your own lane, but that's different. Focusing on your own lane means focus on your graft and what you need to do
100%.
is how I see focus on your own lane. But I don't see that lane having no people around on the sides or anything cheering for you. I want people to cheer for me. I do want people to cheer for me.
I never understood, why does it matter? Like, if we was in the same industry and I'm pushing you, I mean, I don't, like, whatever's written for you is written for you. Just because I don't push you forward doesn't mean I'm going to go ahead of you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Without mentioning names, because he's probably watching anyway, I hope you guys are telling. You know, when we started our podcast channel, there was a friend of ours, and bless him, you know, we were going through the whole process of how to set up and everything. And he went out of his way and he called me and said, listen, I want to come to your house and I'm going to tell you what to buy. And I'm going to do everything and show you how to do it. So don't set us up. And the way he did that, I always felt like he's a big guy. Alhamdulillah, he's a good guy. He's big in what he's doing right now. And for us, he's always been the guy that we looked through. You know, we looked up to him and said, you know, we want to be like you. You know, whether he's younger than us, it don't matter. And the way he came out of his way and he goes, don't set up a studio. You won't be able to travel, i.e. today. You know, we couldn't have bought this stuff with us if we had a studio. Because then you'd have to travel 2 hours. And some people have come from abroad. And then, you know, to think that he went out of his way for us, that's what I don't see in the music industry or in the industry. Because obviously the music side is what I've always loved it. That's why I kind of come out of it 2-3 years ago. I just thought, this ain't for me, man. I don't see, unity. I've actually heard a few artists tell, if that guy's on the bill, I'm not going to perform.
Oh,
and you've probably seen it more than me.
You will hear that so much.
And I remember having a massive fight with promoter, and I'm like, bro, like, how have you taken this guy off because someone's told you? He goes, because I need the other guy. I need him on my show. I wouldn't even call him a AAA. He's just an A, right? And I arsehole, basically.
Excuse me.
And I
thought, I'm not used to that language.
I said it. And I felt like, how could, just because he's told you take these poor guys off, kids who need the support, these big guys who don't need it, they make their money, they do performances and shows, they don't need to stop someone from growing. And they always do it. And that for me was the biggest reason why, you know, I told my best friend, I said, you know what, I can't do this no more, man. I don't want to manage no one no more. I don't want to write music for no one anymore. I'm out. Because the support is just unbelievable. There's no support in it, and it hurts, man. It really does.
Yeah. And you're right, and you're 100% right. But I also think, I know I keep saying it, but it does just come back down to everything again with our culture. Everything in our culture like that. It always comes down to who's got what, who's got the most, who's at the top, who's first, who's better than who. It's always tit for tat. And this is how we create more beef and more problems within our own community. Within ourselves. Yeah, and it's only because we're just watching other people's success. We're constantly measuring, even if you're doing it subconsciously, you're just measuring other people's success. And I think that's what lets us all down as a whole, to be fair, because it's played a big part in my life as well. I was going to hit upon it earlier, but like social media, I've got such a love-hate relationship with it. But when people ask me where you get your most hate from, my answer's always the same: my own people.
That's so deep. I was saying this to you, wasn't I?
Literally.
It's always my own people.
Even with us, like, even we're not even like, you're still, you know, you're an influencer, you're a very known woman, and respect to you, you know. But we're like normal guys, you know, we're married, you know, the amount of hate we get, and some of it is unbelievable. I wouldn't even say it. It's that bad. It would be beyond your. I'll tell you off camera what the sort of messages we get.
I can show you mine if you want to do tit for tat.
Okay, we'll take it off camera. And
everything you could think
it got to the point where I remember getting this one message, and cutting a long story short, I told you about it.
Yeah.
I was so hurt that I just wrote back and I said, you know, if something bad happens to you, just remember it was from me. And that's all I said, because I was so hurt.
Because what they said was disgusting.
It was wrong, yeah? And it was beyond wrong, right? There's levels, you can swear at me. And then what happens? 3 years later, the same person messages me and says, can you please take that curse back? Because my life, so from that time, has gone downhill. And I swear to God, this is a true story.
I got shivers because when he said that same person has messaged me 3 years later.
3 years later.
And remembering what he had said.
She said, can you please just forgive me and take that back? And I was like, of course I'll forgive you. I'm sorry for even saying it.
He didn't even know what he was talking about.
I don't know what I said.
Yeah, well, we all make
And then she sent me a
mistakes
screenshot. Oh, I said she, it was a girl, right? And I go, look, I take it back. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. But at the time, you said something so rude to me. I don't know why you trolled me like that.
Yeah.
And then she goes, since then, everything's gone bad for me. And now she actually communicates with me. Hello, brother, how are you? And I'm like, you know, from that to that, you know, because trolling online, like you said, it's all your own people. I don't get it from the, you know, the white people or the black people or, you know, brown. It's just your own people are the ones that don't want to see you succeed. And that hurts, man.
Well, it's happened to me throughout my whole career, I think. Through my whole career, anytime anyone asks me, it's always my own people. And it's so disappointing because, if anything, obviously I do this for myself, but the other reason why I do it is to make us all feel proud. I want us all to feel like we can do these things, we can break these barriers. You're seeing one of your own people in a light where you might not have ever seen, you know, a person that looks like you there. My aim in my life, in my career, is I want to be in places and spaces you would never see me. Amazing. That's what I want to do. And I do believe in certain places in my life, I've already done that in certain places, because if I was to ask you, like I said, going back to the kids' TV, which other person, or especially female Asian,
not one,
have you seen that? I haven't seen anyone.
I haven't, yeah.
So my point is, be proud that you've just seen someone from your own community, or someone that looks like you, or however you want to see it, doing something that you would never have seen. So can you not clap for them? I'm not begging for attention. Attention's different.
No, of course.
But credit where credit's due. And that's what frustrates me. And it's, you see it a lot in music, but you see it a lot everywhere. It's just our people.
Every industry.
Yeah, like we just don't want to see each other win, man. Yeah. So like going back to trolling, I've had it in my entire whole 15 years of my full career. I've had it bad, but when I came to BBC, I think I've had it worse. Maybe because the platform's higher and I'm more of a public figure now, and like that became harder. But I've had anything and everything bad that you could possibly think of right now. I've had it. I've had everything, and it took over my life so bad. Going back to when I was in depression and therapy, a lot of it was to do with that, because I couldn't control this. I could not look at my phone every day. I didn't want to go into work. It was all just like, how do you please everyone? But obviously we all know the answer. You can't. You can't. No one on the planet can please everyone.
You know, personally, I never thought Harpz would ever go through that, because you know you were such a lovely image.
I think I've gone through it.
You've always been through...
You know what? I think I've gone through it more than anyone there. That's mad, innit? Because you would never think that. You would never think that. But
do you mind if we ask if it was boys or girls, or mixture of both?
Mixture of both.
Right.
I think girls probably more so, no?
It was weird because you would get girls, but you'd also get a lot of older men, which I found really weird.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't really... You'd get the odd few younger ones here and there, but it was older men that are hating, and I'm like, what is... I don't understand what your frustration, a problem and connection is with hating on me that much that I affect your life, and I'm probably half your age. If not less than half your age.
Yeah.
But I soon figured that out as well. What it is, it's because people that have so much time.
Yeah.
I hate to say it.
Well, look, God bless our culture and God bless our, us moving forward. Harpz, before we wrap up, I always like to say, leaving it on, for any people that are watching you and idolize you and want to be like you, going to TV, what would be your advice to them away from being thick-skinned, obviously?
And also, what's next as well? Like, now that you've come away from...
So I think my advice there'd be so much I could give as advice, but I think if I was to go back on myself and give myself advice as well, it would probably be this too, is just, honestly, if something at some point in your life tells you that you need to stop, and it could be anything, and this is probably because it's my biggest learn in life. Like, when I realised I needed to stop something and I didn't, and I let it carry on, and I let it carry on, and I let it carry on, it really did get worse and worse, and it gets harder to repair. It really, really does. Like, I still feel like I'm going through a healing journey. I might be living my best life now, but I'm still healing. Like, I've still got a lot of trauma that I'm trying to get over. But I wish, going back, that when I knew things were getting bad, in whichever way, like, do something about it when you know it is. Because when we know it's there, but then we ignore it and we kind of go, nah, it'll be all right. Like, tomorrow I'll be all right. Next week I'll feel better. It'll sort itself out. And deep down inside it's actually not going to change. Like, do something about it. And the only reason I'm saying that is because I've walked away from things. Like, 2022 was a big year for me in terms of just letting go. And I think when I let go of certain things, a lot of things, they were hard things to let go of. Yeah. Very hard things to let go of. They were going to change my life forever. But my point is, if you ever get to a point in any situation, be it a job, a relationship, wherever you are, financially, anything, and it's just something's telling you that it's not right, take my advice, man, and take that leap of faith, because I believe it so much now. That sign that comes inside of you is for a reason. And I'm telling you now, I do not regret a single bit of any of the big decisions I made last year, because I feel like I did it at the right time.
It's brilliant to hear as well.
And good things come back, man. We're always scared in it. We don't let go. Like, letting go is it's hard, really hard thing to do just as a human. It
takes a lot of courage, don't it?
Yeah, because and why are we scared? Because we're just scared of where we're going to be after.
Change.
On the other side, where we're going to be. I mean, as a huge presenter on radio, I was terrified of going, I haven't got a backup.
Yeah.
I haven't thought of plan B, but I just knew for my own sake, I just need to get out, like, for my own sake. And it took months to do that. It wasn't like, tomorrow I'm going to do it. I was thinking about it for a good 8.5 months, and it took me that long to just do it. But my point is, just do it. Like, if we always talk about the great things and advice, there's so much advice there that you could always get, but sometimes you just need to hear a bit of real talk. In your journey, if something crosses your way and it's just not right, then just
go for it.
You have to let go. There's a reason.
Yeah, of course. That's
brilliant. And it does work in your favour, I can promise you that, because I'm sat here now and I'm still happy, I'm smiling. So it was all right in the end, wasn't it?
Well, you're looking great.
I was scared, but I'm all right.
Yep, of course. And you know what, Harpz, at that point, about your future now, because a lot of people do want to wonder where you're going to move on to now. I know you're really into your dancing and your videos are getting better and better, so don't stop doing that.
You.
I need a few lessons. You're a shocking performance.
Anytime you want, Andrew, I've got time.
Harpz, I've got you.
I've got time now, innit?
So, I'm on that. I need some lessons.
I've got time back.
Okay, so... be setting up the camera at home. Right. How did Harpz tell me again?
To the left.
Stop beating me up.
I think we should do this at some point now, just for a laugh. I'll teach you a little routine.
100%. I'm not missing you to hear that. You're listening.
No, on a real, I'm a very open book, so I never answer this question by going, right, I'm going to do this next, because I don't know what's written for me next.
Of course, yeah.
So I'll keep chasing my dreams. There's a lot of things that I want to do. I have a wish list. Yeah. I've always had one. So there's a lot of things on there I still want to tick off, and I hope that I'm a strong believer now of just putting it in the universe. I'm going to manifest it now, because normally I'm always like, nah, I ain't going to get it, I've spent my whole life doing that.
Yes.
And I need to flip it now. So I'm training my brain into going, no, that is going to happen. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it will happen. So yeah, I've got a lot of things I want to do. I'm working on a lot of things in the background. And as you've probably seen, I just drop random things here and there I'm working on. So let's see. Busy. The next big break happens, it happens in it if it's meant to be.
Well, hopefully everything that you want to go for, you get it.
100%.
Thank you.
And Harpz, thank you so much again
for thanks for having me, man.
It was such a great chat.
Great chill.
I hope I didn't give you a headache. I told you.
No. So guys, there you have it. DJ Harpz in the house. If you liked what you saw, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe.
And hit the bell notification so you don't miss none but uploads.
We do that every episode.
I know, yeah, it's just like a simple thing, innit? Yeah. You know what? I like it.
But you know, guys, before knocking
keep that little bit at the end.
Peace, love, and respect. Take care. Bye.